What's up everyone? It's the first podcast for ShadowBox Martial Arts. It gives people a little bit more of a in-depth look into the gym, a little bit of a history on the coaches, a little bit of sports combat news. Just having a laugh while doing it really. Gives something where people can maybe sit back, chill, and look at something that they've got interest in as well. Just give you a little bit of insight of the gym. My name's Carl, for people that don't know me. I'm the head coach of ShadowBox Martial Arts. The gym's predominantly a kickboxing and boxing gym. We do have a no-gi grappling program that runs alongside that as well. Leading into that, I've always been in boxing my whole life, boxing since about 6-year-old, and started kickboxing not long after that. Got into no-gi grappling pretty late in comparison to the other crafts. About 21, always kind of had one foot in, one foot out, just kind of deep in my passion for the sport, if I'm honest with you. Like most people, I'm 33 now, so like most people in the late 90s to early 2000s got into UFC, and again widened me kind of horizon on the sport itself and just kind of fell deeper in love with it, which led eventually to opening a gym. Something I've always been massively passionate about, teaching, meeting new coaches like my co-host Jake, and it's been great. Started boxing, like I said, from a young age, got to a pretty decent level at that. Same with the kickboxing. And grappling, like I said, always had kind of one foot in, one foot out of it. Hence meeting Jake. On that, what I'll do is I'll pass you over to my co-host Jake. He'll give you a little bit of background on his sports combat experience. We'll go from there.
Yeah, so I'm Jake, the co-host, as I said. I'm also the boxing coach here at ShadowBox Martial Arts. I boxed as amateur from a pretty young age. And in the last sort of year or so, I come to the gym initially for the grappling, funny enough. So I've been sort of in and out of the no-gi grappling for the last year or so. The last few months I've started to pick up on the kickboxing, which is coming along, which is nice. It's nice to sort of see improvements in new crafts and stuff like that. And as I say, helping out in the gym, sort of seeing everyone else improve along with you. But yeah, it's really good fun. As Carl says, we thought we'd start a bit of basically just a chat, once every few weeks or so, just to sort of run through some combat sports, run through a bit with ourselves, get a couple of guests on, just have a bit of fun with it. But yeah, it leads on quite nicely actually. The first bit that we're going to do, we're just going to look at some stories from the combat sports world. I grabbed a couple, I think Carl's grabbed a couple and all. So Carl, what you got?
Aye, so first one just kind of, I would imagine, has grabbed a few people's attention, for me anyway. Topuria, just for me, you know, it's a bit of a bittersweet one to swallow, because I didn't actually like the lad when he first came on the scene, very arrogant, and, you know, obviously I'm a pretty big fan of Paddy Pimblett, and that's as much as people love or hate him, I'm a pretty big fan of the lad.
Here's Paddy.
I absolutely love him. Think he's class. Respect the hell out of him, think he's brilliant. You know, game has to come. Just love the kid. But yeah, I was pretty pleased now looking at Topuria strike and all that they didn't kind of collide when they did. Sports news, for me, just looking at a few of the things, I think that what was quite interesting was Ortega's reaction this weekend when he got brought up. It's quite interesting for me as a martial arts fan of obviously the sport, but to that kind of Premier League level, fighters, to see like someone, I don't know, I might have got it wrong, but I just like, after Topuria's 15-0 now, finished everyone he's been in there with, it would be, obviously, well, it is intimidating to get in there regardless what you say, or someone that's got such a high finishing rate, but I think that like, when I asked Ortega about the potential of fighting him, didn't really seem like he wanted to jump over the moon with it, you know what I mean?
Can you blame him though? Like,
no, absolutely not. But it was shocking because of how game and how many strikes that Ortega will just walk through to get to his opponent, and the classic example of the fight that weekend, you know what I'm saying?
It's different, isn't it? Because you can walk through, like Yair for example, very skilled striker, fair enough. He'll hire a few spin wheel kicks, he'll hire this, that and the other. But Topuria, he's just putting people out. Like as soon as he touches you, he's just got that death touch, you know what I mean? So if your game plan against Topuria is to walk through and then try to get a hold of him, one, he's going to start you, and two, his jiu-jitsu and his grappling's insane anyway. He was a grappler before he even boxed, you know. And then obviously he was Spanish national champion as a boxer. That's what gives him, like, that's why I like him so much, because obviously coming from the boxing side, I'm like, yeah, it is. If I get me grappling, then I can start some people. Like, and if you, I saw this mental start on Topuria the other day now. He's never thrown a body or head kick in a fight in the UFC.
He's just got that. He's just got that. The placement of his shots is just absolutely crisp. It's just bang on. He's just such a clean striker. His movement, his prediction, his depth. his time and precision behind everything, he's just brilliant. I mean, that's what I'm saying, that like, he's been compared to Conor McGregor in the sense of like his route to the belt. And there is certain aspects of it. You look at these, like, it's people like Ronda Rousey, she had this pedigree in a grappling or a armbar, especially with a judo. Then you had people like, you know, Conor with his boxing pedigree. You've got the Diaz boys with their boxing pedigree, but then you've got like Colby, Usman with their wrestling pedigree. Look at Adesanya with his striking. And I think it's been quite interesting to watch over the years. From when I first started watching, like 1998, something like that. You know, how old are you then?
I wasn't born. I was born 2000. Young gun, you know what I mean?
Yeah, young gun. Aye, well, like I say, I mean, I still feel like a young gun, but not as young a gun as Jay, clearly. But I like early 2000s, late 90s. It was literally like, you know, Tito and Chuck, you had strikers, wrestlers, you had your grapplers. Then it started forming, and I think like Topuria for me, he kind of shows the next breed of fighters. Like it's such a. He's got such a base on the ground with such a base on the feet with his boxing that he doesn't have to rely that much on his kicks, and to be fair, he hasn't got to worry about the kicks coming his way. Or to be fair, even if he did have more of a kicking base game, he could do based on the fact he's so good off his back. On your point though about Ortega, I don't disagree obviously, but it's a case of like, I just think Ortega would really shock a lot of people if they went to the floor. Like, I think it'd be the case of like Nate and Pettis. When you looked at like the Pettis, I was very interested in Nate Diaz fighting Pettis. Because of the ground game. Like, you watched Pettis in the WEC days, he was just like a little, you know, he was like a little silverback, and it was just crazy how good he was, so strong, how athletic, and his grappling ability was just amazing. But then I thought, like, I wonder what he's going to be like against Diaz, this, that, and that. And when you see them grapple on the floor, yeah, yes, granted it was later on, Pettis may not have been the fighter that he was, but Diaz also wasn't the fighter that he was back in the day either. But when it hit the floor, it was just different, man. You could tell it was just, Pettis was there for, like, if you watch the fight back, he's there for a couple of seconds and he just wants nothing to do with it. And Pettis submitted Ben Henderson, mate.
He's got solid.
Ben Henderson was unsubmittable. He was like boneless. I don't know, some of the submissions people have seen him put in, it's just like, he didn't tap. But then to watch him just like, you know, you could just tell he just wanted nothing to do with it. It's like maybe on the floor with a purple belt or something. I just want nothing out. And, you know, I'm maybe a couple of straight white belt, low level blue belt, but I like to think I hold enough. I can hold my own to get back to my feet and not getting exchanges.
That's your game, innit? So.
But like, you know, if I want to start grappling with a purple belt or above, it's on me what happens next. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, you look at the Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm finish. She didn't grapple with that, and then you look at that, like Pettis just had the same look about him, or body language, he just wanted nothing to do with it. And I think there was a similar thing what happened with Ortega and Topuria, to be honest. I think with Topuria, I don't think that, you know, he would be able to walk through his shots, but I also don't think that he would be able to mess with him even a little bit on the floor. Like, I think that Ortega's that, he's black belts, and then there's like this next tier of black belts, and I think Ortega is in that league. There's a few of them, like Maya, Ortega, Diaz boys, you know, there's a few of them that are just at a different echelon of grappling.
No, you're right. Like Verdun with heavyweight at one point.
That's what I'm saying. Like Frank Mir back in the day. Do you know what I mean? It's just a different level. So I think that it is a scary fight for him, but Topuria's a scary human being. So I think that I normally wouldn't have thought that would have put Ortega off. I just think normally he's that kind of Mexican breed where he's just like, no, I'm going for him. But then it was like, well, do you want to say, well, we'll see what happens next to Saturday. And it's like, but for me, I might be wrong, you might see a little bit of a spike like with Bisping, but I think personally Ortega's going like this and Topuria's obviously.
I think you're right. As you say, I think Topuria's the next up, like, and I think as is just so well rounded, and them hands, like, he just touches you. And all these McGregor comparisons, as you say, like, McGregor was putting people out, but if Topuria now fought McGregor, then I don't care what anyone says, Topuria's far too well rounded for McGregor. And I think Topuria beat McGregor.
What, even McGregor 45 and he's
100%.
Get
in the same one with
good fight to watch.
Oh, definitely.
See, I always wanted to see McGregor when he come into the UFC, when he beat I'm probably butchering his name here. Ivan Bushner.
In Cage Warriors.
And that pull left hand was just. But the whole fight though, like the end level exchange, he does a spinning heel kick and then drops the level into a takedown and gets the takedown. It's just. It was, I don't think there's many on the planet at that point. And then again, when you watch Nate Diaz versus Michael Johnson, he put an absolute clinic on him, and I would love to, and he actually looked like he trained probably for a 155 fight that time. Nate was ripped, and I would love to have seen that version of Nate versus that version. But obviously you can make these dream matches all day, you know what I mean? Like a peak Chuck Liddell versus a peak, even John Jones, mate. It would have been, and people would have killed him that, but I tell you what, like, it would have been interesting, do you know what I mean? Even like, if we watched them all in the peak, but it's like trying to compare George Best to Ronaldo, and it's a different sport now. It's like,
no, you're like, different eras, really.
100% different era. Like,
I think for my first story, I wrote something else down, but I've been very sort of vigilant with the boxing world at the minute.
You make it sound the stories this big at 4 o'clock.
Well, they change really, but one of the big things that's going on at the minute is Canelo's just left PBC. So they were trying to make him fight David Benavidez, and everyone says, oh, Benavidez has the best chance of beating Canelo. He's class, Benavidez. He's great defensively, and he can put it on you, and he can knock you out. And people have been saying for ages, oh, Canelo's been running from Benavidez, this, that, and the other, right? And Benavidez has been in a completely different stable to Canelo. Obviously, boxing politics, fights are harder to make, like than they are in the UFC. Just go, you fight you. And people
it's one government body essentially in the UFC.
Well, that's the thing.
Boxing.
And then you've got people want to protect their fighters. Like, if Canelo's your fighter and he's making 50 million a fight, and you're getting a tenth of it, you're getting 5 or however much of it. Like, you don't want his stock to drop because that's your money essentially.
It's part of the problem here in boxing, isn't it?
Well, what was interesting is that Canelo's gone as a free agent now. Eddie Hearn's trying to pick him up. Golden Boy, you've got Oscar De La Hoya's trying to pick him up again. He's just coked up idiots half the time. Eddie Hearn's, I worked with him. I watched an interview the other day they did with the Zone, and Eddie's kind of fond of him, you know. Like, he Oscar De La Hoya.
Is he?
He likes him, like that.
Minority.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say. Not many people do, but as I say,
he's made a lot of his own background, mate. Coming on some of the things he was coming out with about the MMA in general, it was just calling MMA UFC for argument's sake, not having a clue about the fighters' names. That was mad. It was bad. With the Liddell. There's a clip online. There's a clip online when Joe Rogan goes on the show years ago, and Dana, like, the UFC started blow up and he's stunned. And he gets everything wrong. Like, they put like Chuck Liddell up and he's like GSP. And then they put GSP up and he's like Randy Couture, and there's just like put on mask and put on butchers. It reminded us of that. When he was up there, it's just like, and he looked full of coke, and to be honest with you as well. I mean, Dana exposed him. I mean, I'm not a Dana fanboy, he noises, but he exposed them, like, to be fair. Never since he mentioned how much of a raging coke. To be honest with you,
he's bang on the stuff.
Makes a lot of sense now, like, when you look at him.
Well, he's very erratic in the way he moves as well. But as I said, Eddie Hearn, like, he says, oh, Eddie Hearn's speaking of Canelo all the time. He's trying to get him on, and he was saying, oh, Canelo's not scared to fight anyone. So he says if he wants a Benavidez fight, he'll make a Benavidez fight. Well, I don't know, because my thing was, I thought maybe he's just avoiding Benavidez because it's a really hard fight. But when Canelo's gone to a free agent and he's basically now he can pick the stable, he can go where he wants to go.
Floyd, he picked these fights, mate. He's perfect champion at picking these fights.
But he can, and the
thing is, Canelo not in that position now.
Well, my thing was with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn turned around and said, "I'll make the Benavidez fight if Canelo comes to me." And Canelo's looking again at Eddie Hearn.
He said he was going to make the Joshua and Fury fight.
Doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. But mate, you can't say what you're going to make in boxing, in my opinion, when there's that much politics like the point you're making.
But you know what Benavidez has done? Now that Canelo's a free agent, a day later, Benavidez, oh, I'm leaving middleweight, I'm going up next week.
Really?
So, a lot of Benavidez fanboys, and they're probably out there, and they're probably saying, oh, Canelo's ducking this, that, and the other. I reckon neither of them really want it, is my honest opinion. I think next on about making Canelo versus Jamie Mungwa, who's a good fighter. He's just beat John Ryder, who fought Canelo. And John Ryder's solid, like he's
Looks
solid.
Like Canelo.
Dark-haired
version.
I mean,
same nose and everything. It's mad.
Different type of fighter, very different type of fighter.
But it just shows again, mate. I love Canelo how much he just puts people in the place. Like, you think someone's coming through the ranks, and all of a sudden he just exposes them. It's like, wow.
It's his English interviews for me.
Who?
Canelo. When he sat there, you want payday, you want payday.
I like it when he learned the word fuck.
Just fuck.
Sweating it once, in every sentence.
You want fucking payday, you want
motherfucker. Everyone.
So it's like he just learned that.
That's why he kicked off him and Kevin Frank, because he doesn't realise that when he's like, oh, you motherfucker, like that, he wasn't calling his man, like saying that he does that, he's just calling him in figure of speech, but then he's like, that's why Canelo pushed him in it. He's like, oh really, I won't do that with my mum. I said he didn't mean that, like, you know what I mean? I thought Caleb Plant gave a good performance against him.
He did, but Caleb Plant's very talented, that's the thing. I love that, you know, that fight where he lands 8 jabs in a row and he's circling off. He's circling off.
Poetry in motion,
boom, boom, boom. Oh, it's unreal. Well, Caleb Plant's always been like that, really.
He's brilliant, mate. He reminds us of like a just a proper athletic, just all round. He's just athletically gifted. Him, Caleb Plant, like he's brilliant.
It's when it's when that I think is it Darrell he's fighting. I want to say it's Darrell. He's like, I'll never let a white boy beat me. And he spanks his arse, and then the interview, Plant's like, you're beat by a white boy. He's like, I'm wiping my hands black. I didn't
realise how aggressive he is. Like he doesn't take shit off anyone. They can be joking about, and he's like, what do you mean?
Someone, I can't remember who it was. I think it was one of the Charles or Summit. Said something to him backstage in a fight, and he just slapped him.
I've seen it.
He doesn't
pull punches like.
He's serious, like, but I think he had a bit of a rough upbringing now. So
it doesn't surprise us, bro. Like you look at the Diaz lad like that. It's like game bred. It's like Masvidal. He's just it's on site, and he means it.
Speaking of, did you see that would be the next one? I want to move on to, funny enough. I'll just nip in with it. Now that you've mentioned him, did you see he was calling out Chael Sonnen?
I know.
Chael
even says he hasn't got a problem with me, but fuck him.
Chael Sonnen did a response video, and I saw it just yesterday, and mate, I was creased. I was rolling on the floor. Right, you'll have to watch it. He turns around. He goes. I'm the fake gangster. I've got more felonies than you. he goes. I've got more felony counts than you, and it's honestly, mate, it's hilarious.
What's that gangster from Boston, Wesley says?
I've got the biggest arms in Western Oregon. He's like, some years my dad didn't make 100k.
He was full of the ghetto, like. It was mad to see how good. Like you look at it then, like how he just ran through, like when he fought Nate Marquardt. Nate Marquardt. I mean, not many people know this, mate, but like it shows how long you've been watching it. If you do remember it, but it's like Nate Marquardt would give Tyron Woodley one of the most devastating knockouts most people have ever seen.
The last time he got knocked out
with an elbow, mate. He absolutely. I mean, he drops. It's incredible. And what good of a striker Nate was, and for like Silva done him when he come to UFC, he fought Silva. But for Chael to run through the way that he did, it was mate. He had a bit of a run, like. But you could say it was the same thing. That's something with Ortega before. Like Ortega had the look in his eyes that Chael did when he was against when he got matched up with Jones.
Right.
And he's even admitted since, he's like, I knew I wasn't going to win that fight.
Oh, he said
I was terrified. You could see it in the Ultimate Fighter. He was none of this aggressiveness. Like, compared, you watch that Chael Sonnen with Vanderlei Silva. And then you watch Chael Sonnen with like, I can't really get close. That's class. That goes through most people's head on most of the things that happens now when someone gets too close. But you watch Chael Sonnen and that tough compared to Chael Sonnen and the Jones. It's two different people. And he was better when he was fighting Jones. You know what I mean? But I thought I tell you what, one of the first times when the lads used to come over to the house to watch the UFC, when I used to watch every weekend, was the Chael Sonnen, the first Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen. And the wild massive on Silva. So obviously fanboys of it. And they never trained a day in their life, but they love Silva, they do everything with MMA. And like, he's going to kill him this time, obviously Chael. They killed him for 4.5 minutes. Until he got subbed. 4 minutes 50 or whatever it was, wasn't it? And then at that last minute,
that Hail Mary triangle.
Chael's like, I didn't lose the fight. How can I, on what planet do I beat a man up for 22.5 minutes or whatever he said, then I get subbed in 10 seconds and he wins?
He says,
he didn't win that fight.
He says, I thought if you tapped it ended the round.
I thought if you tapped it ended the round now.
If I knew it ended the fight, I would not have tapped.
He's class. But he was the best shit talker, like after Ali, before Conor.
He
was. Like, there's no one else. What other sportsman in history can you say?
What I liked about it as well is with him it was always clever. Like with Conor.
It was rehearsed. Conor's was never rehearsed.
No.
You could tell. I feel it might be a little bit now.
Where
it doesn't look as. It's not as like I'm British think the different majority. Obviously, you've got to generalise when you make an example, but most British people think it's cool or like more like better when you hear like two Americans kicking off on stage together, like when they start swearing. Like, but then I think Dana said like a lot of the Americans feel the opposite. Like when British
they will do.
Like, a little bit of Bisping used to kick off.
I feel like it's more real.
Well, they die, but to me, it's like I don't know. It's like when Americans really go, it's like it sounds better. Like when we sound some Americans come across a bit cringy, but like when they think the opposite. Do you know what I mean?
Suppose, but then it depends on what you're used to, I suppose, isn't it?
Like sometimes when Bisping would be like, this time you're the home of the fucking this. I'd be like, oh, sometimes a little bit cringe. I was like, oh, but then they reckon Dana was like, the one person who always had a good vibe off when he was kicking off on stage. I never had any fakeness was Bisping, and I was like, I found a little bit of the opposite. I always knew he was game, but he was like, I always knew that Bisping, and he's even said, like, kind of say it from a British standard point of view, that he was like, trying to like psych himself, even if we did, like me and you never fight, but obviously if we're on different squads and we're going to fight, we'd have a problem. And I was like this big, I'd make a problem to kind of get myself in the mindset of, right, I'm going to kill you.
Rather than just being able to compete.
Yeah, he can't compete, he likes them, he has to,
So some of them that have
but that
to
to me isn't, creating it isn't genuine. Do you know what I mean? Like he done it with GSP in the second fight, and it just kind of, I mean, he's good at it, he's good at fabricating it.
I just think with stuff like that though, you should just respect who you respect, and then if you do have a problem with people, then fair enough.
And you agree with the whole thing of like, we're not friends before we fight, like I'm never going to shake, like it sounds bad, but I'm not going to shake someone's hand until after we fight.
We didn't
like,
kiss them,
you try and be killers in front of my family and that, and my friends, and like I'm not going to shake your hand as much of a sport it is. We're not playing tennis, we're trying to take each other's head off, so, and I'm trying to keep my head on my shoulders and my teeth in my mouth, you know, and if you're going to try and put us out, then I don't mind telling you where to go if you're going to come up with us and try to get too close to us. But after the fight, it needs to be respect. I hate when you don't say the respect shown. I don't like when it gets too personal. That's like, look, we're saying to fight here, you know what you're ready for, so, you know what I mean, be real about it, but at the same time, you show that bit of respect in the manner of not maybe striking out or not maybe pushing. And like there was one with that Wayne when that kid like walks up and when he's like standing there, and then the Nigerian guy just walks up and proper pushes him in the chest and he goes flying. That it was bang up the border. Like it's like you should get a fine for that shit.
You know what? You should get a fine. And this made McGregor go down my estimation as well with the Habib.
When he hit him.
Not even just when he hit him. Like when he was like. Saying like your wife's a towel and all this.
I know, that's disgusting.
I mean,
I love Colby, like Colby mate, but the Colby I should say, but the Leon Edwards was disgusting.
That was a bad one.
I'd bounced the water bottle if he said, or even Monster can or something off his head, but I wouldn't have bounced the Monster can, but I would have probably opened and swilled him with it. Like a few of them said that though. You can't be making jokes about people's dead dad and that. You know, disgusting.
Whenever I hear Monster can, I think we're combat sports and that. Connor, don't throw that.
Don't. Mate, that was bad.
Connor, don't.
It was bad. You can't have crazy shit, but Connor's as real as the club mate, and so is Nate.
Aye.
So like, I don't know why they didn't think that was going to happen. I mean, for me, that was it. I said to my dad like years before that happened, I'll tell you what, if Nate and Connor fight, that'd be one of the biggest fights ever. But I'm not that lucky. Nate's second best MMA fighter practitioner of all time, under his brother, and Connor's definitely in my top 10. And I was just like, I didn't want to see two of my best lads fight, like, you know what I mean? It's like watching two like distant friends fight. But then obviously the fight was, I mean, I was the only one in my house channel for Nate, though. Everyone else was like, Connor, and then obviously when he started putting it on him in the second, he started flaking a bit. I was like, oh, and then I was jumping about when Nate won, but I would have also been like happy if Connor won, but I was like, why are you shouting for Nate? I was like, Nate's my boy, you know what I mean? I'm a proper Nate and Nick fanboy.
You like that, Diaz's like things.
But everyone used to make the comparison, oh, Connor this, and mate, if I got a quid for every time I got called Conor McGregor when he was big, I wouldn't even charge for the gym. It's honestly, mate, it was ridiculous, and people were like, oh, I mean, it was cool and all that, they got in reference to some of that, but it's like, you couldn't get your hair cut, the people were like, you're trying to look like Conor, take me, because I'm blonde and I've got a beard. Do you know what I mean? Like, I actually started growing my hair before the kid, but he was receding more than me, so he got it in me, you know what I mean? But it's like, funny enough, I was going to get the tattoo down my spine as well. I'm like, I'm not doing that now, everyone's calling us Conor already, do you know what I mean?
Taporia's got that same.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, I know, it's like...
So does Taporia's brother.
I never wanted a chest piece, like, but I was like, I wanted a sleeve from like here to my hand as well, and I was like, I'm not taking that either. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you start like that and then, you know what I mean? It's
you know who's very McGregor out, and this is a big shout out, guys? Theo.
Oh, mate, Theo.
Theo loves McGregor. He's got the chest piece, he's got the hair, and he's got the
even moves like him, doesn't he? He's like McGregor 0.2 at the minute.
Aye, full on. He's getting there,
No, he puts the work in, mate. That's what I'm saying, like. Final one from me, UFC not living up with the hype.
What, 300?
Sorry, UFC 300, just not living up with the hype. I think people are more excited for 299. 299 is, I mean, don't get us wrong, UFC 300 is good, but it's nothing compared to 200 and that. UFC 299 is more 300 to me.
See, but people are being so unrealistic that I think, because don't get us wrong, the main event's very underwhelming. Like, Pereira Hill, I don't care for Jamal Hill, to be honest with you.
Mate, no one knows who he is, unless you're a vet fan.
Well, it's hard because obviously he had a tough run because he won the title, then he had to go because he was injured.
Vacated the belt, which was honourable as well. I had to at this point anyway.
But 205 is a bit lax at the minute, I think. Like, there's him.
It's been there for years,
Jiri. It's just since Cormier and Jones.
I was gutted about Reyes because Reyes was just on this. And he just went.
And it was a tight fight, very tight fight with Jones.
I think he beat Jones. I think he did. Like,
no, he didn't.
Nah, I'd fight you for that. Like, he literally made me have to go back and forth all day because I was never giving. I think he beat Jones. Like.
It was the closest he's been to being beat, I'd say, bar the Matt Hamill disqualification. but
that wasn't a loss, was it? For
the 12 to 6.
He done shite against OSP.
Aye, and Thiago Santos gave him a good fight as well.
I did actually.
Thiago Santos had one leg.
I was thinking that Thiago Alves, I never fought him.
It was a... I can't remember if it was ACL or something, but he had something
decent
in.
fight, didn't he?
Aye.
He just went doing that.
Aye.
Didn't he?
Well, he's just been beat by Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero's just beat him on the weekend. Romero's 47 now. 47.
Well, I reckon if he had been in the UFC when he was 20, like mid-20s, at your age,
Nah.
no one would have touched him, like.
Nah. Well, he was 35 by the time he got the UFC.
And he come in Machida.
Aye.
Maybe Shad Evans was my favourite fighter, like one of me still in my top 10. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Shad. People call him boring, but that's just lack of knowledge and that being naive in my opinion. Like for someone to be able to change levels and box as well as he was and change, I mean he won tough at heavyweight, he's not a heavyweight by any stretch of the imagination. He's a 185er. You know what I mean? And that he eventually went down there. But I hated that when a lot of the 205ers. That's why they don't get us wrong, and people will probably jump on this, right? But like Jones obviously is one of the GOATs.
Yeah.
I always toss up between, obviously I'm a fanboy, so I say Nick's the GOAT, but in realistic terms, if you're going to look at like the records, it has to be Mighty Mouse, John Jones or GSP. And for me it's GSP. Like Mighty Mouse probably technically yes more well-rounded than GSP and Jones, but that's because of his low centre of gravity. He's like a computer game, as many people have said.
Different gravy, isn't it?
But he hasn't the competition either. He fought Cruz, got ragdolled. Yes, granted Cruz is my stamp. Mighty Mouse is what, 5'3".
Yeah, nah, they fight. The thing is though, like...
But Mighty Mouse, regardless of our training for the next 5 years, he would ragged on me.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that Cruz done what he done to him, at the time he did as well, was really impressive. Like, I know Cruz got danced around off Garbrandt. But, I mean, mate, his heels were attached. I'm not making excuses for him. He signed the dotted lines to the better man one, but bro, if it's true, they reckon the muscle wasn't even attached to the bone anymore on both ankles.
Aye.
That's why he had both feet strapped up. So, and that hit that he's a movement fighter. But Cody, I hate Cody Garbrandt. Like, if you're watching this, Cody, you'd probably chill with me, but I'd happily fucking fight you, like, no problem at all. Like, honestly, I just can't stand him. Some of the stuff he comes out with, he's just an absolute idiot.
For that fight though, he was arguably the best.
I'd love to box and sport someone like Cody, mate. Yeah?
In that one fight, that was the best title performance in UFC.
I've never seen anything. It was hard to watch me, but credit where credit's due, because he was an absolute monster. Maybe he made Cruz look bad, and maybe Cruz wasn't on his best and made Garbrandt
either way,
look
it would be like me stepping into a boxing with like an 11-year-old who's never put on a pair of gloves. That's literally what it felt like. He couldn't touch him. It was ridiculous.
I can't stand Cody though. Again, Cody, if you want to fight, I'll fight. Wouldn't be much of a fight. You think he hit me? Hit fight. He hit me. I hit the floor.
Can you call it that?
But aye, you'd be on me. You'd be on Instagram when he messaging. Sure, that means loads to him. But like I say, I'm the same stamp as him. But no, I just think, like I say, UFC 300. I think they've been struggling with the people that've had available to them.
Aye.
I think they have been struggling, to be honest with you, like, but just for injuries and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Aye, no, just before doing it on, what would have been your ideal main event for it? It has to be realistic.
300?
Aye, yeah, bear in mind...
Hamzat and Colby.
Right. Hamzat Colby.
As like the #1 contender.
I like the whispers of the Pereira Aspinall fight. It was never,
that would have been sick as well.
Aye, it was never going to happen, and Aspinall would have probably starched him. But
I reckon people don't get us wrong, Pereira's got definitely got the ability to put him out.
Aye.
But mate, I'm not just being biased because he's British and all, but I just think that he's a different. I think he would do a lot better against Jones than what people, because Jones has always struggled, mate, against someone his own stamp.
Aye.
Like when I trained with Gustafsson, he was like, he just had him on his mind the whole time.
Aye.
Well, it was just like, who do you want to fight? And he said, I want to fight Jones again because you just lost him. And I said to Jones, I said to Gustafsson, and I was like, what? Because there's it's the third round.
Aye.
Or the fourth, when he looks John Jones up. That's the separation between John and everyone else. He does kind of level up against his opponent.
Aye.
And I think the difference was like, he knew he was behind on scorecards, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he looks up at the clock and he sees that Gus is dipping. And he throws a spinning elbow, mate, and he just threw it. It just landed perfect. And you see Gus nearly go. And I said to Gus, I was like, what did that feel like? And he literally says to us, he's like, yeah, I was seeing 3 of them for 2 rounds.
I'm not surprised, aye.
And I was like, mate, the fact that you actually managed to keep your guns, I just went for the middle one.
Because he dips into it as well, that's the thing.
He does, he dips into it, but that kind of set, and I think that on the comment before, so to go over all ground, but the OSP fight, I probably sound like I don't like Jones because I think he's amazing, but he did do shit in the OSP fight, but I think that was because of OSP didn't look brilliant either.
Aye.
But I think if OSP had been on his game, I think Jones would have upped his game.
Well, yeah, I think you're right, because as much as Jones like fights up to the person's level, he also fights down with.
Aye,
Like,
exactly.
if someone's not giving him much back, he does just kind of cruise.
That was different to like Colby, like look at Hendo, he just ragdolled Hendo and stopped him, where I think Jones would have took him a distance and maybe stopped him in the last, just to kill him a bit, you know what I mean? I personally think Jones' best performance, or one of the best, was against Teixeira. To get Teixeira out of the pocket against the cage and box him, like, I'd love to have thought, yeah, I respect there, like, because Teixeira can crack, you know what I mean?
That body shot now.
It was brilliant. It wasn't quite as good as how Gus put Teixeira away. That was
I
one of the best
three
sequences I've ever seen.
and then the comeback.
That was like as good as the whole fight was what Garbrandt done to Cruz.
Oh, it was cool, like the sequence, like.
When you see smooth sequences, it's like, that's. I was saying to one of the lads that day in the gym, he's like, "Call what I do with this," and I say he's like, because he's got one of them fight where all the like collard fights coming up. He's training in it, obviously his facility and coming down in the game. I just say to them, like I say, keep it simple, lad, because 90% of the time, even though you say at the top level, people keep it simple. And they're very good at the basics. Now, that's not to say they just keep it basic. What they're really good at, I was trying to say to them, when you watch it and break it down, what they're really good at is the setups. That's what's the complicated part. But it's not the actual the actual execution of it, it's the setup to the execution.
Well, people overcomplicate the setups as well.
100%.
Like, when I'm doing bits with like Brandon and that, shout out Brandon, I'll teach him a little bit. And I'll say, like, look, you don't have to like do crazy steps or anything. Like the most simple one that I'll land time and time again is I'll throw a combination, and then I'll pretend I'm taking a step back, and then I'll just jab in. I'll take half a step and just jab in. And the amount of people whose noses are bust or broke or whatever, just because I'm stepping back half a step instead of a full step, inviting the space and boom. Like that is basic stuff.
Well,
but
it works against
the best of the best.
It's the same thing. It's like keeping side telling people just touching you, not to put power in. You've seen me fall people in it, not because I'm big, this one, but you've seen us like taking it like 15%, landing in the liver, will go down.
Right spot,
because it's just the right spot. You know what I mean, it's like, no, you didn't hit hard, and it's like you don't have to hit people hard, just look for the shot. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I know the right precision as opposed to, like I say, very famous man said it, didn't he? Precision beat power, time and beat speed. And it couldn't have been said any cleaner, to be honest. Like
Mystic Mac. Nate can only count to 5.
Right.
Count to 5, Nate, if you can.
It's just a money channel.
Take a coffee break, Nate.
That was what I loved though, like he didn't flicker once. No. He didn't flicker once. The best one was like when he was sitting there. I love Nick's little brother. You know what I'm saying?
It coaches kids jiu-jitsu on a Sunday.
He's
gang signs with the right hand.
But he's sitting there and he's not bothered. Nate's just like, yeah man, whatever, do you know what I mean? He's just like not buying into it. So you're gonna fight regardless, you're gonna have to answer for it. I love how he says like, when they're like, we're gonna knock him out, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. It's part of the reason I fell in love with the Diaz boys. It's like, I always used to think to myself, but they articulated it, as mad as that sounds, they articulated it in the right way. I never ever train, ever, see if I'm ever going to compete again, I would never train to win a fight. I'd always train, not, and I don't mean it in the way of not to lose, because you can see when people go in there not to lose, as opposed to win.
It's different. Covering up.
What I mean is train like what Nick always says, is train every way possible in order to prevent that from happening. So visualise yourself getting kicked in the chin by a roundhouse kick, visualise getting out jabbed all night, visualise yourself on your back, getting put in bad positions, and then train to get out of them.
That's what Volkanovski does with his grappling.
Exactly, and that's what Nick's always done. It's like, that's why they're coming so like this all the time, because it's like they're not yet to play a game. You know what I mean? You've got like people smiling at you. See like Frank Shamrock when he fought Nick, and he's smiling at him, and Nick's like, he's smiling at that bitch. You know what I mean? It's like he's not saying it, but like he's literally saying to me, as well just be me and you in a car park here. Why are you smiling? We're gonna fight. There's no reason to be smiling. I'm gonna slap the taste out your mouth in a second, because you're gonna have to kill us to stop us. And I love that mentality. Do you know what I mean? It's just, that's how it should be. If you go into a game of tennis and do that, say, what are you doing, mate? You play in pool and it's getting all aggressive from that. You see people on the telly darts. They get aggressive with each other. No, they're playing darts. And they shake hands dead hard and they pull each other in.
You want to play rugby? Gerwin Price.
He
pushes about them.
He gets very aggressive for that. I say, lads, can any of you fight? Like, do you fight? Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's like, he's all acting like you do. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you doing? So there's no need for it. It's like, fair enough, you're in boxing, UFC stuff. Like, you're going to obviously go in there, any MMA organised. Yeah, you're going to fight. You're going to have some malice towards each other. You should do. Do you know what I'm saying? But like, it's just funny, like I say, the way people, the way that it comes out sometimes with people's reactions. Do you want to move on to segments 3? Got some fair event predictions.
For the UFC 299.
299
coming up soon.
299, the real 300.
I think it's better. I do think it's better than 300.
Unless they change the whole 300 card up, it is better. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Predictions. Jan and Song. I'm going to go on a bit of a limb. Jan stoppage.
Aye.
I'm going to go Jan stoppage. I know it could go out. I was actually looking at decision for a lot of them, but I just thought I'll have a few stoppages in there as well as a few decisions.
Aye.
Burns and Della, I absolutely love. Like, swear to God, I love Jack Della. Like, he's just my kind of fighter. He's like what Gamebred used to be. Like, he's so precise with his shots. He's so clinical with the shots. His nose is plastered under his eye. Do you know what I mean? It just shows vet. And it's just like, I love the way he comes in. I've bet against him a few times thinking, oh, he won't win this, and he goes in and just...
My issue with him and Burns though is I don't think he's ready for Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, I do, mate. I do. Like, I mean, don't get us wrong, the Hamsar fight was good. It was a really good performance off Burns, but I don't know, like, you see Burns...
You've got to think the people that Burns has been in with. Like, who was Madalina's last fight?
Oh, well, but they've got to cross the path. They've got to pass the line at some point.
No, you're right. I mean, you're never going to get there if you don't fight the likes of like Gilbert Burns.
That's what I respect about Magny.
But his last fight was Matt Frivola. Like, if Matt Frivola fights Burns, it happens.
Well, then you look at, like I say, we'll segment forward to an up and coming fighter. I'll bring it back to that there, but I don't know what you mean. Like, there is levels to it, isn't it? That's what like separated like Conor and Rousey though, because it doesn't matter what level they got put in front of, they were just knocking them out the same as the Poirier.
No, you're right.
Do you know what I mean? I mean,
Aspinall.
It is. It's the same thing. It is.
But I reckon for that Jan one, I think I can't remember what I wrote down, but I reckon it's either going to be a Jan stoppage or I might actually. Song Yadong might even take him to a decision and win.
I thought, well, that's what I'm just went against me. I've went head of heart and I've went, I'll go heart. It's kind of I want Jan to get the stoppage.
Back and win, Colin.
Whereas, like with the Burns and Jack Della, I legitimately think Jack Della's going to show people how good of a striker he is. Because I think it's the Poirier effect. Like, you just could see he was so comfortable with what. Like Volk's a good MMA striker.
His boxing's very good.
But there's a but like you say, there's levels to it, isn't there? And I think Jack Della, I mean, I might be wrong, you know, we'll know soon. But I think he's going to put a clinic on. Honestly, I think he's going to put a clinic on one of my feet. Like, I think you'll see Burns shoot.
I think you'll see him shoot. I think that's where Jack will have an issue.
100% on the floor, it's different. I mean, he's no mug on the floor. He's not a mug on the floor.
But he's not a multi-time jiu-jitsu world champion.
So Burns is that echelon of like Maya and that.
No, he is. I mean, I think if Burns comes in and he plays the game right, I think Burns should win a fairly veteran-like decision. Like, I think he shouldn't try to come in and box him or knock him out or anything. I think he should just try to negate what Jack's got, and then just out-grab him.
It could absolutely go that way, 100%. It's a realistic way to go.
That's what he should do. It's not going to get him a title shot again. Like, it's not going to.
Well, it's a lose-lose really.
Because if he wins a boring decision, it doesn't really raise his stock.
But then he's been beat off in the open comer.
Exactly. So I don't think it's a great fight for him. But
Holland and Page, mate. Sorry, quick off it.
Oh, that's a banger, that.
Mate, I think back in the day, I'd have went with. I'm going to say it anyway, just based on what he used to do, but I'm going to say Page. Stoppage, which I know is silly because Holland has he been stopped?
Never, I don't think. Oh, well, no, Thompson didn't stop.
When he knocked out thingy from God.
Oh, when
Who was that again? What was his name?
Jacare Souza.
Oh, Jesus, that was incredible. But I think he is that person you're referring to. I think when it gets to a certain point of a striker, like you look what Wonderboy done one.
Well, he's very confident coming in and out because he said he was like saying I've been fighting tin cans and this that.
Who was this?
Page, and he turned around. He says he turned around and he said, ask anyone in the UFC who sparred with me how they think this fight's going to go. And he said because none of them last a second. He reckons there's someone in a welterweight top 5 now that he's sparred, and after a round and a half they said I don't want any more.
Standard doesn't surprise me.
Well, because he's levels above it.
It's like saying Usman going box Conor.
It's that karate style he's got now because he took it from points karate initially. So he obviously he's very bladed and he stands in. He done the same. He's had a couple of pro boxing bouts. He did exactly the same style.
I seen them. I watched them. I watched one of them.
He just knocked
people out. He fought no one. He fought an absolute nobody's.
I mean, even in his MMA career.
Not being funny, like way to beat the lads he beat.
Probably. They were there to lose and all, you know what I mean?
100%.
But, I mean, in his MMA career...
Most lads at our level, anyone I would have reckoned would have beaten them.
Diego Lima, who he fought, he knocked him out the first time. He did beat him the second time.
There was a cracking fight.
Well, he tripped him and then like laid him on the way down. It was mental, but then he got that back. So
I just don't think he's forgotten what he was. I think like it's a big. I mean, I am going to go stoppage, but I think it's a massive. I wouldn't put it. Maybe put a quid on it. Like it's probably a decent bet, but like got a rule. It's only a £5 per weekend. Don't get addicted to gambling; it'll destroy your life.
I need to tell my little brother that.
There's always limits.
Keeps winning. Okay.
But mate, I put a bet on for the Topuria card I sent you. I lost my bottle. I just had 4 fights and then I won all 4 of them and cashed out halfway through because Whittaker started getting lit up. I had him to win and then I cashed out, and as soon as I cashed out he started winning. And I'm saying like, got the 4.
Took that head kick and all.
He took spinning heel kick. When they were practicing that last night. The lads, he couldn't believe that's what he took.
It was nasty.
Well, when they were connecting on the pad, they were like, I can't believe that's what he took. I was like, I'm telling you.
And you've got to think now, it's Paulo Costa.
You've probably seen it coming though, to be fair. If you've seen it coming, there's a much bigger chance that he's took it.
Yeah,
if you didn't see that coming, mate. But then again, you know, well, did you see that if you were, I calling after Canelo beat him?
Oh, when he got starched with
it? He said, I seen the punch coming.
And
I knew it was either going to land or I was going to land the check hook.
He should have never fought Canelo.
Mate, he was doing amazing. I'll always defend Conor.
No, don't get us wrong.
He hasn't got a glass jaw either. Once he's got a glass jaw, I'll tell you what, right? Get in the ring with him, smack him in the chin and say how much of a glass jaw he's got.
He's honestly one of my favourite fighters because of his hand speed. As you know, I'm outspeed me, so I love him for his hand speed.
Well, I was in Malia when I was 18 with my missus. When he got beat off now and what's it called? I think it was not Brazilian. The black lad that knocked him out, the first one. The lanky one, what was he called again?
I've got no idea, mate.
The first time he got absolutely knocked clean out when he was flying against
he was like 12 or something, he fighted for I can't remember who it was.
I forget his name now, but I was going up the Malia strip and there was a bloke watching the fight, on the big tellies. And I was like, my missus, I was like, oh, what's sick, I'm not watching that. I was like, oh, it'll be over quick, and Carl will dust them quick, and I was just annihilating everyone, bang, machine gun. She said, and sure enough, like that, obviously first time just went, bang, and Con went down, and the guy, I was like, oh, what's Con's going to do him here? Prescott, was it not Prescott?
It was Prescott. I thought he was, I didn't want to say it in case it was wrong.
He's in Prescott or something, I probably got it wrong name, I'm not butchering. But anyway, when Prescott called him, I just looked at the bloke, he went, you got that one wrong, mate? I was like, pff, I just walked away. And then in another boss, he looked like he was getting, everyone was in the, I was always being beat. But you watch his fight with Garcia, mate, when Garcia dropped him, he was smacking Garcia to bits. Like, he was just schooled him, and then Garcia had his prick dad. Right, honestly, I hate Garcia's dad with a passion. And then when Garcia caught him, if you watch, he gets up and his legs are like Balby on ice. But he takes a harder shot off Garcia, he stands in the pocket and he's like, wow, this. I love how he takes them on. I mean, it's silly.
It is.
But Garcia goes over the top, bang, and he catches him again. And he takes it and just, but then obviously he sits down on his feet. He sits down on his feet like it was a shame. It was a shame, like, Dustin and Saint, mate. Saint's on a run.
He is, but it's
powerful lad.
That is one of the biggest jump up in competitions that I've ever seen.
I've got Poirier decision based on me.
I think Poirier stops him. I think Poirier is far too experienced for him. I've never ever seen the UFC going right. He fight him. How big of a jump is that?
It's massive.
I don't even know who Benoit's last fight was.
I've never seen anything as mad as that. As how Khabib when he won his belt off. Just to give you his terms as well for people that don't really know too much about MMA or UFC. And obviously Khabib is great, but at the same time, I know it's hard to put a butt behind that, but because he's amazing. But how many butts did I say there?
4 or 5.
4 too many. 4 or 5 too many.
Maybe 6.
Editing comes into play. But no, when you see this, there's another one. When you see that's like the equivalent of like whoever's second in the Premier League now of football, playing like number 10. And winning the World Cup from it. It's like winning the Premiership, World Cup, winning the Premiership from it.
Well, Alaia Quinta was, I think, it was the 5th choice or something that they asked.
I think I'm sure he was number 12 in the world. And he won the belt from it.
He was down there, because
it's like when you watch Khabib stand up when he first came in the UFC compared to it was far from obviously top level when
it was funny. It was funny when far from top levels. It was
doing squeaky noises when he moves and stuff.
He was throwing like genuinely throwing like this. He used to throw like
you know the duck when they squeeze the duck. There's a meme where every punch he's thrown, that's happening. When he moves his head.
It's mad. It's mad. But he still clipped Conor.
Oh, but he was far better than I then as well. But I mean, Christ. But I think that shot that he caught Conor would never have landed back in like when Conor was Conor McGregor.
Nah, it was just a friendly takedown. It was just.
I always said from day one, mate, Khabib's his kryptonite. But I did say it back in his day, and I still agree. I'll still stick with it now. We'll never know. But if you could put Conor at that peak, Khabib in the 4-10 times, I think Conor catches him about 6 out of 7 times. People will.
What you reckon? Khabib more times out of 10
back in the day. Nah. Whereas I think when they fought, even like when he come back and fought Cerrone, or even when like, even after when the Cerrone fight, I think that Khabib beats him 7-8 times at a time.
Easily.
But not when he was hungry. And people are going to say, oh, you can't say because he was getting. I'm telling you now, if you want to play that game and say, oh, you can't say, well, then really who did Khabib beat? Or the
you're right.
He arguably lost to oh my God,
T-Bow.
You could not take him down.
Well.
Tell you what,
T-Bow took him down.
Take the bias out of it and go and watch that fight.
And
mark it down properly. Insiders, don't listen to Joe Rogan or anyone. And mark it. I bet you 30% at least will say, oh, T-Bow won. It was just as close as the Reyes and thingy fight, John Jones.
No, you're right.
Probably closer.
It was the closest fight Khabib's had by a mile.
But you say I think Ortega would have given Khabib problems on the floor, like massive problems on the floor. Do you know what I mean? And for me, if Khabib would have been one of the greats, like probably not, if not the GOAT, if he had just went up this 170 and fought Usman.
I don't think you have enough title defences.
Definitely didn't. Yeah.
For me, you've got GSP, Jones, Demetrius Johnson defended his title 12 times.
You kind of compare them.
12
It's like people say about Diaz 50-50 record. He's fought everyone in the UFC.
No, well,
tell you what, mate. I tell you what. If Khabib fought as many times as Diaz, you're a mug if you think he would never lost in his record.
He would have lost at some point.
He would have 100%. The only one that's been raised and rated and he's been close to losing is Jones.
Aye.
You know what I mean? He easily could have went the Reyes way.
What's after the
in the first fight with Gus, could have went Gus's way. You know what I mean?
He could have done.
Second fight couldn't have like.
No. It was a massive.
But to be fair, I think Jones wanted net more to do. I'm not going for that again. War for 5 rounds. I'm just going to take him down and do what I should have done the first fight because he could have done that.
Well, that's what he should have done.
He should have.
But he's had cooked up every weekend that as well when he saw.
Worked for him.
He
should have just got called up before the last one.
He
maybe have more finishes.
The best.
He went from being a stopping machine to a decision machine. Jones.
No, he did.
Outside of obviously Cyril Gane and that, right?
No, he was running. Just.
Do you think? And that's a bit off subject. Do you think? He would have beaten him?
Who?
Francis.
I don't think Francis would have. I think Aspinall would beat him now.
Do you think Jones' kicks would beat with Keith?
I don't even think you'd have to kick him. I think you'd just get out of him. To be honest with you. I don't get wrong.
I thought what he done with Cyril.
Francis is a beast, but I just think Jones.
It's like it's a 4-10 times, so I think if Jones went in and Francis goes like, and even if it's on a proper punch, if he just goes like that on the side of his head as he comes in, he can knock him out. It's like when you look at Francis when he fought, what's the French guy called? Oh, he's a brilliant striker. No, Francis Ngannou just ran at him across the ring and knocked him clean out.
Rosenstrike.
He's a better striker on paper.
No, he is.
He's got better striking credentials.
He was champion K1 on that.
100%. But it's just you can't. It's like
different.
It's like
just touches you. That's it.
It's like fighting Tetris on the shadow of a call.
That's why the Joshua fight's interesting. It shouldn't have been an interesting fight at all, but it's interesting.
Who do you think wins that?
Joshua. I think Joshua will fight him the same way he fought Ruiz the second time. I think he's just gonna jam and keep it range.
You can't.
I think so. I think because Ngannou will be. Ngannou was quite wary against Fury. Like I know he was coming in, but he wasn't like just running in like he did in the UFC.
Yeah.
I think if he was like that against Fury, he's got to respect Joshua even more than Fury because Joshua hits harder than Fury does. So I think just because of the respect of the sport, he's not going to jump.
Quite robotic. Not anywhere near Joshua's level of boxing, but I'm saying he's quite robotic in comparison to Fury.
Yeah, no, he's more orthodox as well.
And Fury didn't land much.
He's much easier to replicate for sparring as well. That's what I'd say. Joshua's a lot easier to prepare for than 100%. Fury. But I think Fury just either didn't train or got took massively by surprise. I mean,
I think it was a bit of both, mate. I think if I'm honest, I think you bang on with both sides of that. Like,
what was sorry, went off on the right tangent there. What was the next fight?
O'Malley and Vera.
Oh, the main event.
I've got O'Malley stoppage.
Yeah. Aye,
He was batting Vera to bits, mate.
he was piecing
The only reason he lost, I mean, I did give it better man won on the day. You can't really take much of it. He was there to be, you know what I mean. He kicked the leg.
Aye.
You can see the leg kick that shuts his foot down
Well, it hits
instantaneously.
the perennial nerve, doesn't it?
Aye, it's
And
just
then
done. So, granted, you know, he's done him. You can't really see. He
won the
hasn't.
fight. Aye.
If you're in a sword fight and then you catch someone's artery and the
Aye,
bleed out,
aye.
you've still won.
Aye, that's it.
That's essentially what happened. But he did go. If you watch him, he lands to the cross and then his foot rolls and then
Aye.
he goes down again and he's just. I mean, it's a lovely elbow, but would it happen that way? I think the fact that one kick and that won't happen again. I think he stopped him. I mean, it might get surprised me if Aaron might stop him again.
I think they'll probably stop him in the second or third.
Well, O'Malley.
Oh well, yeah.
He's so clinical, mate.
Aye.
He's got that pull brilliant. He's like a right hand version of Connacht with that pull.
But the thing is, he's seen his left hand.
It's brilliant.
His left hand's mental as well. His left hand's mad too. That's the thing.
100%. Now we'll get to David.
Right, and we're back with David. Dave, how you doing?
I'm good, man. There you go, touch coach.
All touch.
Yeah, you are ready to go. You feeling you feeling open? You
Yeah, I feel
honest?
open.
Yes, all touch.
Yeah, you are ready to go. You feeling you feeling open? You
Yeah, I
feeling
feel
honest?
open. As always.
Transparent.
Yeah,
Aye, aye.
as much as I can be, right?
Yeah, and if you lie, we'll beat the shit out of you.
Let's find out. Let's find out.
Kids watching.
So basically, just wanted to start off with a couple of like more in-depth questions. Just something we can have a chat on. Get a bit of outlook and a bit of perspective that you've got. Cool. As obviously a parent of kids in the gym that we don't have. So the first thing that kind of I was interested in particular was why did you choose to put your sort of kids into martial arts initially?
To be fairly honest, the beginning was like something of self-defense.
Yeah.
For them to know how to defend themselves outside when I'm not there.
Yeah.
Second thing is discipline,
Yeah.
because I know what comes with it. So that's the two main things. Obviously, I've got boys, so I wanted them to be able to defend themselves.
Yeah.
But having the discipline, knowing when to apply it.
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
So that was the two main purposes.
Key,
of
isn't
it.
it? Like when to apply it as
Exactly,
opposed to
yeah,
how
yeah.
to apply it. How.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's no use being an absolute animal and turn yourself into a weapon if you're just going to go around and get yourself in
Yeah.
trouble. You know what I mean?
That's what you do.
But-
Weaponise them, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's the thing. But as you say, it's very important, particularly in this day and age, that you know how to defend yourself and when to defend yourself more than anything. Because like getting a little bit serious, and there's a massive rise, particularly in the UK, and the likes of like knife crime stuff like that.
Yeah.
If someone backs out a knife, realistically, you number one is to run,
Mhm.
regardless of if you're national champion or
depends,
whatever.
You are run.
Just go,
Yeah.
go, you know what I mean. So it's about knowing when to use it, when not,
Mhm.
and obviously being fair and being Carl says quite often, the martial artist in the head,
Yeah.
rather than just in the body. Which
Mhm.
I mean, obviously your boys are mint at doing that as well, and as well
Got
as
a good
physically.
balance, haven't it?
Yeah, that's the thing, and I mean Hakeem obviously helps out with the classes and stuff, so
Yeah, he's one of the assistants, yeah.
he knows like when to use it, he knows how to use it, he knows how to adapt it as well. So that's obviously going to fare well for him in the future in terms of defend himself, as you say, but also the discipline side. I mean, your boys are in here probably more than anyone else. They're in here more than me. And
Well, I try.
yeah,
I try.
We're on 1/4. I think we won 26 times.
Aye, they
One
were.
quarter.
Aye, it's crazy, man. I'm here 2-3 times a week. You know what I mean? They're here 4-5.
No,
I think
actually, only 2 times a week. But I make sure like those.
Yeah,
I don't miss
consistent.
any week.
And they hop on different classes too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Hakeem's doing his brother's, sometimes
Yeah,
he's doing his
yeah,
brother's
sometimes
class, the
three
kids'
classes.
class, his class.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
do 3-4
Yeah.
classes.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
crazy.
I think from my side of things, well, from like Hakeem and V, they've got the right attitude towards it, especially
Yeah.
from such a young age. Do you know what I mean? Which is testament to you and Anna. James,
Yeah,
you know,
that's really
so
good to
it's-
hear, man.
you see obviously a lot of different diverse kids, you know, you see different lot of diverse parents, as I'm sure most gym owners know. And I think one of the really good things I've noticed with you and Anna, the structure's there at home, from what it seems like at home and in the gym. You know, there's nothing along the lines of, you know, being necessarily too strict, but not too, maybe the wrong word to use, but they're not babying them too much.
Yeah, very light.
Like I said before, you know, there's times where I'll go to say something and it's rare, but you know, not that David's the person that shouts up in the class, things like that, but it's someone, he's a very, very good spectator. He's kind of the perfect spectator in the sense of like, you don't want people in here opening their mouth in the middle of your workplace, because that's essentially what it is. But there's certain times at key points where, like, and gym owners know what I mean, Jake's seen it before, where there'll be certain things said and then it doesn't necessarily. Yeah, sorry, just had a little slight interruption there. But yeah, from the structure point of view, mate, I think it's really good to see that your timing's quite impeccable. in the sense of like, I don't know whether you mean to do or not, just natural, but like, you'll wait until the boys come over and say, make sure this and this is done, man, I want you following direction. Yeah, there'll be certain things where it's like, listen up, and it's maybe times when I'm like, getting the next thing set up. It's never like an interruption, you know what I'm saying, which is a skill in itself, because people don't realise sometimes it's just a kind of subconscious interruption that they just don't realise, you know, because that is out of frustration. It's not saying the kids listening and things, you hear that a lot, and obviously we do our best. It's hard to keep a kid's attention span for half hour. I mean, V's class is essentially more less skills than listening skills. You know, the 6 to 8 year old, it's kind of a 50-50 mix in between of like starting to understand why you're learning what you're learning, and understand that it needs to be projected at home in school. And then obviously from the older kids, it's kind of the case of, you know, to start getting that good 80 to 20 mix of, like you said, learning how to be a martial artist. Akeem's just adapted perfectly, do you know what I'm saying? He has. And skill wise, it's literally day and night from when he started. I mean, he was always quite natural, wasn't he? When you first seen him, but then obviously you see the progression. Sometimes people are natural, but then there's plateau. He's just continuously upgrading, man. Do you know what I'm saying?
But that's because he enjoys it.
That's the thing.
You can tell the difference. I've seen that the parents make it comments and stuff like that he's really good at it. But I guess that comes from the environment that you guys bring in here. So he felt very comfortable from day one. So it's really good. And but just going back when you mentioned about knowing the right time. Obviously, I don't want to obstruct your class. And you have your thing set up here in terms of how do you want to run it. So I don't want to come in and stop that. But the moments that your kid's kind of being like a bit off, personally, I feel like I need to tell him off and just, you know, turn your switch on. And I tell you all the time, you have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. So chill. Bring your energy accordingly. So I think they do quite well.
Especially it's nice and blunt. Especially the kids reacting quickly. Do you know what I mean? They react the right way as well. You know what I mean? So it's good. One of the questions on for me is kind of like, you know, from because obviously I'm not a dad yet, but it's like, from a dad's point of view, like, what's kind of the thing that you're the most proud of from seeing both of them at the minute? Like, you must obviously the growth in them, or like the change you may have seen.
To be fair,
because it's hard to commit to something at that age, you know what I'm saying?
It's hard for them to commit, but I don't think I've pushed much. Obviously, as a dad, I'm always trying to push my kids to the next level. I feel like they need to be pushed. Anybody needs to be pushed, but Hakeem himself, he enjoys it. Like, I don't need to tell him, and they're at home like ShadowBox. It comes naturally.
You can see it.
You can see it. While V, obviously he's a bit younger, but he's following his brother's steps. And you get to that stage that actually he enjoys it. So I mentioned to you before, like that. So there's days like I'll be like, we going, and he'll be like, okay, cool, and then eventually we come, and he'll be like, I wanted to go, and he stop crying. So just because he really enjoyed it that much.
I love face.
So going back to the question, I think it's the progress and just the fact that they really enjoy it. And you can tell like the concentration, especially with V. I remember when he first started, it was a little bit, his concentration was out. But now I can tell like he able to sit down and listen and be on that mode. Obviously he's still a kid, he's only 5, and there's moments he's playing about and whatnot. But 9, I would say 8 out of 10. He's locked in and no, it's that ability.
I think the better he's got at it as well. He's saying that, like, from what I've noticed, the better he's getting, the more kind of like dialed in he is. And you've been saying from day one, he might just be that guy, just switch it and be like, okay, I'm just really gonna do this. But the progress that they have made and the ability of have concentration and actually just picking up something from very young age and be like, I actually enjoy that. You know, I'm actually gonna pursue that. That's Hakeem. Like, I feel like I'm gonna pursue this. He's self-motivated from such a young age.
So
it's great.
And to be fairly honest, I don't wanna obviously blow up my own horn, but myself and we said, okay, you're gonna do this, so you're gonna do this well. I don't care what you do. Whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna do
your best.
Do your best,
as you should.
So and the kids, like, a little bit of discipline is needed, so we have discipline in there.
I think it takes it back to that I've seen. We've both seen that, and we've both commented on like how good of a parents they are.
I appreciate that, man.
It's not. It's literally not. It's realistic terms, isn't it? What we see on a daily basis.
I mean, with the motivation as well, I've got a little bit of a sort of theoretical insight into it, because in university I did a module about the fuse of motivation within sport. So different, rather than looking at how motivated you are, it's about the quality of the motivation and where that motivation is. So with Hakeem, for example, The best type of motivation for an athlete is intrinsic motivation. So you're not looking at, oh, I want to win this, or I want to do that. It's about, I want to go and perform this task, kind of thing. Like, I want to go and do this.
Yeah.
Whereas, obviously, that's not to say that people can't succeed if that's not the case, because you can.
Yeah.
But in terms of likelihood to stick it out from a younger age, if you've got that sort of thing inside you where you're saying, yes, I want to go because I enjoy it, you're more likely to stick it out and you're more likely to be successful.
Yeah, well, it's like anything, like if you have a subject at school, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you do bad and you worse one, but then you do, well, magically you get much better grades than the one you enjoy. So it's, yeah, absolutely. David, I'd be like, I don't know, mate, have you got any questions for ourselves? I don't know if you have maybe something lined up.
A couple of questions actually.
One thing I'd want to probably ask while you're finding it, mate, is again, where would you see kind of the potential of something that's disciplined the kids at this age, or they've used for discipline, where do you think it could be used in the future? Like in another aspect of life, do you know what I'm saying? Whether it be work, or day to day, or something like that, one kids, something like that.
To be fairly honest, this is something like, as you guys can tell, right, I'm big in discipline, because for me, this in order to, discipline is a way of loving.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
100%, yeah.
So I see, we had a chat about a couple of weeks ago about this, where this is something that I see my kids can fall back into, and by having that discipline very young, they can take it anywhere.
Yeah.
So even before they join the gym, you guys seen the kids from day one since they started. It's a year now or March that they've started.
Yeah.
Because I remember they missed the first grading.
Yeah, that's
when
right.
they first started.
Coming up in a year.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So having it been 12 months, and I can see the progress. But like I said, from home I make him do exercise and planks and all that stuff. Yeah. So all of that discipline, do you know what I mean? I make like V-hangs.
By the way, something that we're planning for 4 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes,
yeah.
And the youngest one can dead hang for a minute and a half.
Yeah, he's 5 years of
Five.
age and he can
Dead hang for a minute and a half. It's
So,
insane. I thought I had a good plank, like 3 minutes 36. At the minute, it will be more soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5 minutes. He came and like, yeah, that's easy. Call it. It's easy. So yeah, I'll do 5 minutes.
4.5 is my best ever. And
Sorry, I forgot. Mine's 4 minutes 31. That was my best. If Jake's was 4 minutes 30, mine was 4 minutes 31. I'm joking. Mine was 3 minutes 36.
I went to Tenerife last year. Carl actually went to 11 Reef. Sorry.
Yeah,
Wasn't
that's
it? 13 Reef, wasn't it? Anywhere Reef you went, I'll be more.
Because I went to 14 Reef last time.
Right.
40 roof.
That's what it was.
But yeah, then again, I think having that discipline will help us, will help them in anything that they do, job-wise, personally wise. I think that sort of thing, having a discipline, it will help you anywhere. Just knowing how to control yourself, knowing exactly where, there you go, is a pillar of structure.
Yeah.
So within that, I think they're pretty good. I'm like I said, me as any parent, I'm trying to set my kid up for life the correct way.
That's it.
Or the best way I can,
And
to
you
be
can
very
see it,
honest.
bro. You can see it from
Like I said, I appreciate that, man.
What my dad used to always say was he said he would feel he would succeed as a parent if me and my brother did better than him.
Yeah.
There you go. That's exactly what I said.
Not just in terms of like career-wise, but in terms of like as a person.
As a person, yeah, 100%. I connect with everyone 100%. Yeah.
My mum and dad's been massively influential with me, and my mum's always says like, look, if someone else can do it, you can. My dad's always said if they've got a brain, son, they can do it, so can you. It's just about applying yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think like the lessons that they want to teach, I didn't get taught they want to teach through their kids.
Aye, 100%. Aye.
Same with David, like
Definitely.
Yeah, perfect. So, my questions are, how do you structure your lessons?
There's various ways, mate. Something I won't necessarily do is have like a set plan, because you just don't know who's going to, until you've got a booking system in place, as I'm sure most gym owners know, that you can't really have like a set structure. You can kind of have like a skeleton structure. So you're like, on the board we're going to be covering counters, the day, parries, things like that. I mean, it's how I do it, person, if you wanted to own. There's some fantastic gyms around here, so it's not just that this one thing works, but it's like what does work for us is having that skeleton structure of saying, right, Jake, Monday we're going to be going over, jab cross counters, pull counters, things like that, parries, reacting off teeps, things like that. It could be like on a Wednesday, then you're going to be coming up with clinch work, you know what I mean, things like that. So you've got that skeleton structure there. You might have boxing on a Tuesday, and boxing drills and kickboxing, and then on a Wednesday more MMA orientated. Yeah. But like I said, you can't really, like, you can sit there and Jake's seen this, I can set up a circuit and then set for like 12 people, but then 4 will show up. And then I've set a circuit up for 5 or 6 people, and then 20 will show up, So you kind of I think the main thing is having kind of a base thing that you want to teach that particular week, whether it be a base from mount, a base from back control, a base from, you know, being mounted, a base on being in guard, also a base in depth for your boxing and your kickboxing, a base in Dutch style, so they're learning how to start getting used to actually taking the shots and not being too sensitive with each other, but also learning that distance management of like, right, I can't break each other's arms in training. And then over that week, right, well, it's majority of a counter, a parry, you know, a distance control, and then you've kind of got your skeleton structure for the week. And then if I'm honest with you, mate, it's a lot of the time with most people in most businesses, it's just passion that takes over in the class, because then I'm thinking, right, I'm doing this, this, and this. And then you can say in it, you know, separate the room, and then if you're good at something, I'm not being big-headed about it, but if you are half good at something, it seems a lot easier than what it would to someone that doesn't really understand it. It's like, we were talking about Paddy Pimlet and Jimmy Webster last night. Jimmy Webster was saying on his podcast to Paddy, it's like, I couldn't imagine anything more frightening than getting in a cage with a man that's trying to tear me face off with his elbows and his knees, you know what I mean? And Paddy's like, I equally couldn't imagine getting in front of 2,000 people and singing. You know what I mean? I'll sit there and fight a man for 500 quid rather than saying, tell you what, I'll go and couldn't sing to Newcastle for $2 grand. I'll be like, I'll fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's obviously every time. So I think it's just like I say, there isn't a structure, so to speak, but there is, which I know it's contradictory, but it's kind of like working with what you've got on the week, and once you've already got something up here anyway, you've got a filing cabinet full of information that you've done your whole life. It's not really that hard to just think, right, well,
just makes it easier.
Yeah, man. It's just like, and I think you've had the structure, the main structure that I'm mainly enforcing me coaches things that is making sure that you have a relationship with each student, because it's so integrally important that you can have a 1,000-seater gym. You better make sure you have at least 20 coaches, because there's no way you can have a relationship with 1,000 people and remember everyone's name and actually have the time of the day with them. You're going to need a wide spread of coaches for that. So for the size of the gym that we've got, you know, I feel like we've got a good spread where I can actually relate to each person, and then I can see, oh well, I can't teach Max the same as I can teach little Connie, because the, you know, one's double the size of the other person. So what's going to be complementary to her style, and what's going to be complementary to Max's style? Okay, the day I'll put Max on the kickbox, and I'll get Connie boxing with Jake. You know, so. And then it is what you say.
That was my next question, because obviously you have all different students, you know, and they have different personalities and different they like and stuff like that.
All different martial artists.
Yeah, there you go. So how do you guys, as you having a more of a boxing background and now doing kickboxing as well, and no gi grappling, how do you guys adjust to different kids that like different things and different personalities as well?
You've got to play to strengths, but also notice weaknesses. So, like, for example, if there's a certain kid that's particularly strong with their boxing, but their kicks might be awful, like, it would make more sense for, say, the likes of Owen as a kickboxing coach, then do a bit more work with them. It's not to say that myself I couldn't do, but it's just in terms of specialists and stuff like that, there's certain things that people are good at, and you have to recognise when people are better than you in that area. So Carl's a much better kickboxer than me, but in terms of boxing wise, I feel like I could teach boxing to a similar level as Carl. So whereas so you've got
you're better at certain aspects. Because yeah, with this kid, you're better at certain aspects of boxing, and you know that's why we're so
well, that's the thing. You've got to have that balance though at the end of the day. And I think in terms of teaching styles and stuff like that as well, you've got to realise that, particularly with kids, they don't all take things in from the same thing. So some of them will watch the demonstration and they'll copy it, and that's how they'll learn. Some of them, if you say, when you jab step your foot out, because they've heard it, they can do it that way. So by doing demonstrations, but by also talking to them about it, you tend to cover more bases.
That's actually something I picked up on you when you like actually teach with the kids. You'd be like, you talk to them the different, depending not just on the age, but I seen you doing with V's class, and then you do a little bit different with the older class. So I picked up on those things, which is great.
And I'm not even trained them on that.
Yeah, there you go.
You know
something that's very big comes to
me. You know what I'm saying? He's very natural at certain aspects of the class, you know what I'm saying? For me, mate, I think it's like I say, it depends very much on heavily what he said. Size, personality, skill, what they're naturally good at, what they're not naturally good at, you know. If someone is very much a kickboxer and I'm seeing in sparring they're starting to being able to use the kicks with the correct timing and things like that, and the hands are starting to become competent, or they're becoming competent with the hands, I'm thinking, well, yeah, the style at the moment's looking more like a kickboxer, so I'll train them more like that. I'm not going to train everyone the same. Hence why you've seen in class as well, sometimes separate the room boxing, kickboxing, MMA. my favourite thing was the fact that most of the kids ran to kickboxing because it means I'm doing my job properly.
Yeah.
But then obviously when I've started showing them MMA aspects, you've seen things like with Max, you know, little Connie and that, they just want to start, they love the Latin aspect of it. So then that's showing little facets of it there. Cameron started as a kickboxer, he didn't want to spar anyone. Now all he wants to do is learn all the combos and box everyone and spar everyone.
Yeah,
and you're starting to see that little different paths that they're starting to take, and it's like, well, you know, Max might end up heavily in MMA. The gym was meant to be ShadowBox mixed martial arts, but it just wasn't big enough for the first unit we got. So I think looking at the different skills that the kids have got and what the interests are, because what it's really important is that what the kid would come into the gym and have an interest in may not be what they're going to end up interested in. They may come in wanting to box and then they want to go grappling. I mean, it's like the Jake saying, you can neglect what you've been so good at for so many years because people have got so much work to do to catch up in that area anyway. Like someone could sit there and box for the next 2 years, they're going to be still decades behind me and Jake in boxing, in terms of boxing. Someone could grapple for the next 5 years, they'll probably be a better grappling than them, even though I've grappled in and out with that for longer than that. Yeah. You see in Max, would you be surprised now if Max didn't have an MMA artist and Connie was a kickboxer and Cameron was a boxer? Not necessarily anymore.
I wouldn't be surprised if Max tries to hop into some jiu-jitsu competitions.
Well, this is what I'm saying, look how much of a passion as well.
I can see
it helps us when I start seeing what they want to do. It makes that part of our job easier, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, like I say, that's kind of what I look at, and that's what I'm waiting to see to where I'm going to start putting them, you know, start looking at which craft's going to be the best for them.
Right. I don't have any more questions.
Yeah, that's really good as well. Yeah.
So what I wanted to do, just as a bit of fun, before we did finish up, a little quick fire round for yourself. So
shoot it off.
Just want sort of 1 or 2 word answers, dead quick.
Okay, cool.
No pressure or anything.
Do you like Jake? That's what I was saying, what's the stupid questions? Who do you like the best?
No pressure, right?
Just looking at you.
Who's your favourite coach?
No, it's
Well, you're sliding a tenner. That's all.
No, just 11 read. No, so it's just a few daft questions, just about yourself as a person.
Cool.
Right. What's your favourite sport?
As of now, MMA.
MMA.
Yeah.
What's your favourite food/dish?
Don't have one.
Don't have one.
Don't have one at the moment.
What's something you eat a lot?
Something to eat a lot. Pasta.
Pasta.
Yeah.
Pasta.
Mushrooms. Any sort of mushrooms. I just love mushrooms.
I love mushrooms. I've started doing a fight, start hiding like 4 full mushrooms in the spag bol while it's cooking.
Yeah.
And then before I take the spag bol out and thing, you should all take the mushrooms out first. Call Rachel in, put a bit of salt on, and I love mushrooms.
Any sort of mushrooms.
Think you don't?
No, I do like mushrooms.
I tried that.
I was never.
He asked for a recipe for scran. I've sent it over.
Yeah.
Took us an hour. He still hasn't done it.
He doesn't want to try it.
Nah,
they want to try it.
Second stages, mate. Took us like 2 hours to make a curry. Normally takes us an hour. An hour later, editing. Oh, there you go for Jake.
I will do it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, keep having McDonald's.
Oh my god.
I love McDonald's.
Oh man.
I know. One other question. Who's your favourite kid?
My favourite kid, Luffy, the dog at the moment.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
He's probably the least hassle.
Yeah. Well.
No,
I've got a question actually. When are you going to start getting into adult kickboxing?
Soon.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fairly honest, my timing is not best. But what I'm doing is, I said, you know what? Let me get craft on my exercise, and then I'm gonna jump on it.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna jump on it.
100%.
Come in on Saturdays as well if you're free.
Yeah. Well, Saturdays I'm never free. To be fairly honest, I'm never free. But
he's just did the diary for us today.
No, but I'm. You guys see me? You guys gonna see me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna come in, man.
100%.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Third
ninja of their family, won't it?
I'd genuinely be excited to see what you're like because obviously naturally like you keep fit and stuff, so I'd imagine
Oh
you're
man,
It's
I
the
love.
aspects of both the
Yeah,
kids.
man.
Because when you're training Jessica, you see her mum and her sometimes, and then when you're training Max,
Yeah.
because Max trains.
Oh, you
her,
can. You can see it.
like,
Yeah. You probably guys can see a bit of myself in Kim. Yeah.
Hakeem's just the carbon copy printer.
Yeah, just
Isn't
get
he?
it out.
It's literally bro.
Like Cell from Dragon Ball, you know when you have those kids?
Yeah, that's
me.
it. Yeah. Aye,
There
right.
you go.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah, good. Right, so guys, that was the first episode of the ShadowBox podcast. Hopefully we'll have a few more coming up in the next few weeks.
Join me next time. We've got Brandon on.
Yes, I've got one of the lads in here. Started with from day one. That's one of the reasons we're getting them on here. More or less came in from day one, had no background experience in combat, and he's by far
Still a bum.
He's still a bum, aye. Nah, he's absolutely fantastic for the amount of time he's been training. Like, people think we're lying, don't they? Like, you would think he's been training for 5 years. The kid's been training for 14 months. It's incredible. He's got the best etiquette in the gym. Literally, he's got no ego, which is rare. And he's one of the nicest lads you'll ever meet. He's the salt of the earth. He's a young lad, you know, cheeky chappy, but he's a lovely lad. So Brandon should be on in the next few weeks. We won't have a guest every single week. We'll have, like I say, sometimes me and Jake will be bouncing back and forth, but gives a bit of a good insight and breaks episodes up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, David, nice one.
Nice one, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate the
Bang
invite,
on.
man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, us.